All right, bro, what's going on? Today, I want to talk about why it's important that you choose a woman that chooses you. And what do I mean by that? When I say that, what does it even mean? So, I think it's important that you choose a woman that chooses you for you in the sense that she isn't choosing you based on some fake persona that you've built up. She isn't following you and she isn't attracted to you because of the fact that you've decided to go and craft this sort of facade or this wall or this shield of a personality and of an environment around you that isn't actually you. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of us get advice these days from the internet. Okay, you're watching this video right now. Obviously, you're doing the same thing. And myself included, I've taken a lot of advice from relationships and watched a lot of content when it comes to relationships online. And this partially happens because a lot of us don't have fathers and we don't have a strong family unit and stuff to teach us these things. And a lot of times, even the generation behind us don't even understand these things. So it's normal to do that. But a lot of the advice that's given out there is honestly, it's just trash. And I kind of hate to put it that way, but it really is. It's trash if you're in a certain mindset and if you want a certain lifestyle. And specifically, the advice that I am saying is trash. And the reason why I'm saying it is trash is because you have to decide for yourself as a man, where are you in terms of the relationship spectrum? Where are you in terms of, like, in life right now, what do you want to get out of a relationship? Some of us, were in a position like myself where years ago I was single and I was done being single. I didn't want to be single anymore. I was sick and tired of it. So I wanted to get in a relationship, and I felt that's what I needed to really push myself forward, was a long-term relationship. Some of us, however, and some of you are in a position right now where you want to stay really focused on your self-improvement. You really want to stay focused on building up your income, your financials. You really want to stay focused on building your body or whatever it may be. And so for you, you don't really feel like a long-term relationship would be beneficial. And it depends on where you are in that spectrum, because the way that you go about choosing a woman or a woman chooses you will be different based on that stage. And the advice that I think is so trash is this advice of guys telling you online that you need to change your persona, you need to change your style, you need to change your whole appearance. You need to change the way that you act and interact with people so that you can actually get attention from women. And in my experience is that this road will lead you down a path that you might not want to go down. In the sense that if you change who you are and you change your whole personality and you aren't authentic to yourself, right? You aren't that authentic guy who's actually, truly okay with himself, you will attract women that are incompatible with you. Now, I'm not saying that changing your whole entire style, your personality, all this kind of stuff, and adopting these traits that these guys tell you to do won't allow you to have sex with women, right? I'm not saying that it won't work for you to have sex or hookups or casual short-term relationships. But if you want a long-term, meaningful, deep relationship with a woman, I don't believe that changing who you are and not being your authentic self will get you that. Because I've been in a relationship for years now, and yeah, it's had its ups and downs, but overall, you know, it's been a healthy relationship. We still like each other. Everything still runs smoothly, and it's low drama. And the reason for that is because I wasn't trying to fake who I was coming into it. If you try to fake who you are and you try to pretend to be someone that you're not, you're going to attract incompatible women. Because basically what's happening is you're putting up this act, right? You're putting up this act to attract her and bring her in and all this kind of stuff. And she's choosing you based on the act and the energy and vibes that you're putting out. For example, let's say you're a guy who really enjoys art. You really enjoys art, you really enjoy painting, you really enjoy a more artistic lifestyle. But you see all these guys online saying how, you need to become this quote unquote alpha male who, loves fighting and loves, being an entrepreneur and making millions of dollars and, has to have a ton of cars and all these materialistic items in order to attract women. And so what happens now is you kind of hide your true self. You hide that artistic side of yourself. You hide that creative side because you think it's too feminine, or maybe it's not alpha enough to attract women. And you go out in the dating market and you try to become this quote unquote alpha guy, which is just so cringe, but I have to use it because people understand. You try to become that guy. What happens? it's not that you can't attract any women with that personality, but it's a fake persona that you've put on. It's not your true self. And so what happens now? You start attracting women, but it's not going to last. It's not going to give you a deep, meaningful connection, because how long can you wear that mask? How long can you pretend to be that guy before it starts taking a toll on your mental health, before it starts taking a toll on your physical health? And then eventually, everything that you built was on a foundation of sand, right? Your relationship was built on a foundation of sand. And so you cannot be surprised when it comes crashing down. And this is one of the things that I've started to realize over time is like, if you want to attract a woman who's compatible to you and that you could see yourself being with in a long-term relationship without dealing with all the bullshit, all the drama, all this crap, you have to actually be yourself. So that artist who was hiding himself and what he really liked to do, if he had just instead stayed true to himself and actually went even more extreme in that direction and really amplified that personality, the artistic personality, the creative side of himself, he would actually attract better women for himself, in the sense that they would be more compatible to him because of the fact that he's actually being authentic. And so he's going to attract women who are interested in art as well, or are like a guy who is really artistic and creative. And that's a whole different lifestyle from this quote unquote alpha lifestyle that everyone else is promoting and telling you that you need to be in order to get women. And I see this happening. And the reason I want to make this video is because, today's Valentine's Day. And a lot of people out there are going to be single. They're single and they're lonely and they're depressed about it. And there's a lot of guys out there who are in relationships that aren't going well. They aren't going smoothly. They're rocky. And a big part of why that happens in both scenarios, if you want to be single, but you want to be in a relationship but you're single, or you keep getting in a relationship but it's kind of like the wrong type of woman for you, a big part of why that happens is, I've realized over time, is it's because you're trying to be someone who you're not. You're not being your authentic self. You aren't actually being true to yourself, and you're not bringing that to the world and actually using that as your way to attract the opposite sex. You're going out there and trying to use a magnet that's basically a fake magnet, right? It's not actually you. And so, yeah, you can bring them in, you can lure them in, but how are you going to maintain that? How are you going to maintain that for a year? How are you going to maintain that for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? I'd like to see you try to maintain a fake persona with a girl for 3 years without shit going left, without having a ton of drama. It's not going to happen. Because in essence as well, she's kind of being tricked into thinking that you're a guy that you're not. And so all that this will bring you is women who are incompatible with you, that are going to bring you a ton of drama, a bunch of toxicity. And the reality of the situation is you'd be much better off not only being authentic and true to yourself, but actually doubling down on that. Because then you stand out. I see a lot of people in the whole space of self-improvement and in dating and all this kind of stuff, and these dating coaches. It's just so cringe, bro. It's so cringe because a lot of them aren't in healthy long-term relationships. Maybe they can sleep around with a bunch of girls, but maintaining a relationship is a whole nother skill set. It's a whole nother, ability to have. And so a lot of these guys you're taking advice from, just realize you aren't taking advice from people who are actually in happy long-term relationships. You're taking advice from people who are just obsessed with short-term instant gratification, right? Just quick sex, casual relationships, short-term relationships. And like I said in the beginning of the video, if that's what you're in right now, and that's in the mode that you're in, because say you're trying to focus more on yourself, there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to recognize that. And even in that case, I would still say it's better to be your authentic self. Even I still wouldn't change, even in that scenario, because why? Why do that? Why change who you are? You know what I mean? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I do understand because I used to think that way. I used to think that I needed to be someone else in order to attract women and actually be in a long-term relationship with someone that I actually loved. I thought that I had to change who I was, but it's a lie, and nothing could be really further from the truth. And so the key is to choose a woman who chooses you, right? Choose a woman that also chooses you, and that she's choosing you because you're showing and you're being authentic to yourself. It's very similar and interesting because this is the same sort of thing with content creation, right? It's the same sort of thing with social media. Like, for example, if in this video I started talking in a completely different way with different mannerisms, and I was like, hey guys, so today we're going to be doing this and blah, 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 and blah, blah, that wouldn't be authentic to me, right? It wouldn't be authentic. And so, could I attract an audience? Yeah, I could attract an audience, but it wouldn't be an audience based off my true personality. And so, how long can I keep that up? Every time I call on camera, I have to pretend to be a fake person. You know what I mean? Every time I call on camera, I have to act like a person that I'm not. And so, yeah, I'll attract an audience over time, but it's not going to be the right type of audience. It's not going to be a compatible audience. And it's the same thing with women. If you try to be fake and you try to do this whole thing where you put on this persona of trying to be this guy that everyone says that you should be, you're going to attract incompatible women, and you're going to have these relationships that you see failing all the time, or always in drama, or always dealing with bullshit. And so I want to talk about this because it's Valentine's Day, man, and so many people out there are just struggling, right? They're struggling, and it makes it worse because you're on social media and you see all these people, oh, look what we did for Valentine's Day. Oh, look, I'm having like the time of my life. You know, this is so great. But you have to ask yourself, how long is that going to last? Are they actually in a compatible relationship? And hopefully, you know, it is. But like, you can't let social media come into your world and basically just fuck everything up and make you think that, you know, you need to do this or you need to do that with your relationship because of the fact that someone said that you should do it. And I know that I'm giving advice on this video right now while we're talking, but I'm trying to give a different perspective than what everybody else is basically shoving down your throat and telling you, oh, you need to act like this, bro. You need to have these mannerisms. You need to do this with your body language. Oh, you can't do that. If she texts you this, you have to do that. It's like, dude, stop with the fucking games. It's just way too much work. It's literally way too much work. You're wasting so much time, and you're affecting your mental health in a negative way, literally just to attract a person that probably doesn't even want to be with you anyways. The only reason that they're with you, the only reason you're attracting them is because you're putting up this fake persona. So think of how much better it would be if you could actually be your true self at 24/7, not have to fake anything. You could be your true self and attract women that are compatible with you so that you don't have to deal with all this drama and all the bullshit. It just seems like a way better option to me, you know? And I'm really just, over time, I'm realizing like, the superpower you have is really just being your authentic self and being as authentic and as true to yourself as you can be. Because the other thing is, think about it this way too. What if you go down this road of changing who you are to try to attract a girl, right? And this can happen easily because right now, if you're single and it's Valentine's Day, maybe you're feeling that feeling of like desperation and so like you're so lonely and you have this feeling of desperation like I used to when I was single and I didn't want to be single anymore. You have this feeling of sort of like you're just lonely, you know, you don't want to be single anymore. And so out of desperation, you try to take these guys' advice online of how to get with a girl quickly. But what ends up happening is it ends up backfiring on your ass because you end up in a situation with a person that you're incompatible with. So just be careful when you're out there and you're looking for advice and you're trying to figure this shit out because people can lead you astray. And you have to always think, what is the person that I'm taking their advice? What is the lifestyle are they living? And are they living the lifestyle that I want to live? Like this advice that I have right now that I'm giving you is coming from the perspective of someone who's been in a long-term relationship for years now. So if that's what you want, then it's not a bad idea to take some of my advice. But if that's not what you want, then maybe you take advice from somebody else. And so that's all I have to say on the topic. I just wanted to bring this up because I think it's really important. I see a lot of young guys going down this path where they're just not being themselves. They're literally, they all look the fucking same. They all talk the same. They're all trying to have the same personality. And it just makes it worse because you don't stand out. Anything, like, if you try to be the same person as everyone else because that's what people online are telling you to do when it comes to relationships, you don't stand out. You literally look the same as every other guy. So what is going to make you stand out? What is going to make you different? The only thing that can really make you different and make you stand out is what? It's you. It's your personality. It's the things that you enjoy doing. Like truly when no one is watching, right? When you're not on camera, you're not on social media. That's what makes you stand out. And that and when you stand out in that way, it allows you to stand out and attract the people that should be in your life. And it repels and pushes away the people that shouldn't be in your life. You know what I mean? That's basically what I've been learning, and that's what I'm trying to get better at it myself. I'm not an expert at this. I'm just realizing it over time. Is like, damn, you know, like they had me fooled for a while. And I'm not saying you can't learn more stuff. right? I'm not saying you can't learn about women and kind of like relationship dynamics and how all this works. I'm not saying that you can't improve upon that or improve upon yourself, but at the core, you shouldn't change who you are. Like at the core, you shouldn't change like your essence and your sort of ethos and all this kind of stuff. You shouldn't change that to try to be a different type of person. Like if you're someone who really enjoys being more like, I guess they would say like comedic, or like you're more like of like a comedian type personality, don't try to become like this stoic, super stoic and like stony kind of person, because now you're faking it. You're faking it, and you're gonna attract women who are attracted to that personality, but it's not actually you. And then what happens is they end up realizing, oh wait, this guy is like way more about like, making jokes all the time and laughing and stuff, and then it creates a mismatch in terms of values and in terms of compatibility with your personalities. So that's basically it. I think you get the point. I guess I just hope that this finds you well, and we'll talk soon.